So India-Pakistan ceasefire agreement basically started the bonhomie between the relations of India and Pakistan. More or less after 3 years, that is after the Uri attack, for the first time, we basically have concluded such kind of an agreement. Now, how you are going to use it? See, the main thing of the current affairs is the application part. Understanding is okay, you can understand the things by yourself by reading it or something like that. But how are you going to use it? So, first of all, let me quickly revise you the India Pakistan agreement about the LOC and the CFL, everything, and then I'll come on to this particular article. So, there are basically there is basically a timeline 1949, 1965, 1970, sorry, 62, 19, no, sorry, 65, 71, and 2003, and last 2021. What happened in 1949? Karachi Agreement. What happened in 1965? Tashkent Agreement. What happened in 1971? Shimla Agreement. What happened in 2003? Ceasefire Agreement. What happened in 2021? Again a ceasefire agreement, reiterating the 2003 ceasefire agreement. And what was the 2003 ceasefire agreement? A ceasefire agreement reiterating the Shimla Agreement's LOC. Okay. Now let us again go back to the Karachi Agreement and understand the things. After the partition, the first war took place between India and Pakistan, and peace only could be ensured through the UN mediation. Now, when UN mediated, we created a line called as CFL, Ceasefire Line, which was UN mediated. UN also sent its UN military observers on the ground to check to check the ceasefire violations if done by any country or by any side. So this was the Karachi Agreement. Then another war took place, and the Tashkent Agreement was the conclusion of that, but we did not alter the CFL. So you need to understand the CFL was UN mediated. There was a UN military observer on the ground. It was mutually agreed to by both the countries, India and Pakistan, and it was also written, clearly demarcated, right? Then came the Bangladesh Liberation War, and we signed Shimla Agreement. In Shimla Agreement, we altered CFL, ceasefire line, and we called a new line LOC, line of control. Now, this line of control extends only in the Kashmir to the Jammu part. It is not in the Punjab region. That is the international border between India and Pakistan. So LOC is only up till Jammu region in the Jammu and Kashmir territory. Okay. So now this was the LOC through the Shimla Agreement. Now how it was altered? There was no UN. There was no United Nations military observers on the ground. It was unwritten. It was mutually agreed to, right? But only in the verbal sense. Then came 2003 and we signed a ceasefire agreement. Now this was the line, LOC. But we faced several ceasefire violations on the line. So as to bring down those ceasefire violations, why ceasefire violations take place? For three reasons. I already have told you. To check infiltration, to check the armory and weapons of the second country, and to keep the issue internationalized. So for three major reasons, ceasefire violations are done. So in 2003, we signed a ceasefire agreement reiterating the Shimla Agreement by agreeing to ceasefire on the LOC. After this ceasefire agreement, after a few years, we again saw gradually increased number of ceasefire violations. And last year, we saw, you can say, one of the highest ceasefire violations of around 4,600, as you can see mentioned out here. So it became very important for India to have some sort of talk or negotiation with the Pakistan. Since the Uri attack, we are not having any diplomatic channels open for the communication with Pakistan. In fact, our trade is closed, our SARC meeting has not conducted, our Indus Water Treaty commissioners have not participated in talks with each other. So, complete shutdown is there on the diplomatic front since the Uri attack. Now, what was the implication of it? Did we achieve something? The answer is no. In fact, the militancy in Jammu and Kashmir increased. Afghan peace process, Pakistan has got greater role to play. China has supported Pakistan in a greater front. Also, CPEC development has taken to another level. So, what did you achieve by not talking? Nothing. So, the Vajpayee policy. Vajpayee was also a fundamentalist, you can say, to an extent, but he was a statesman. I'm not appraising or appreciating out here any particular leader, but the policy is called by his name, that is the Vajpayee policy. So you can also write by the same name, Vajpayee policy. During the Vajpayee term, there was Kargil war, there was parliament attack on India. In spite of such deadly attacks on the India and by threatening the security of India, irrespective of doing so, we never shunned talks with the Pakistan. Rather, we opened each and every possible diplomatic channels to communicate with the Pakistan and with the leaders in the Jammu and Kashmir. And that was the time when insurgency significantly came down, when we had very good relations with Pakistan. We also opened the friendship bus service with the Pakistan and so on. So until and unless you talk, you are not gonna reap the benefits. So it was decided in 2021 that we will have an agreement. Now, why this agreement became significant? For two reasons. First, it was signed between the DGMOs, Director General of Military Observers, and a specific date was mentioned on the agreement, that from which date it will come into effect. For these two reasons, it has become very significant. And what is the result now? You see out here, no exchange of fire, nor infiltration bid in the past 100 days. Getting the point? Which used to be one of the highest, have drastically reduced and now are zero. No ceasefire violation, no infiltration bid. Yes, there are terrorist launch pads still on the POK side. Yes, smuggling continues because there are certain villages which are very much close to the border and proper fencing has not been demarcated. So smuggling is there, terrorist launch pads are there, but they are not causing any kind of nuisance. They are not threatening the Indian national security. Now, through this article, you get the importance of communicating. You get the sense of how important diplomacy is. So, whenever you have to substantiate the power of diplomacy, you will use this example. You will use Vajpayee policy to relate and explain. Getting my point? And if India and Pakistan have good relations in the times to come, then what will be it, or what will be the possible implication of the same? First thing, it not only will ensure peace at the border, but it will have, or it will be imperative for the regional peace, stability, and growth. Afghan peace process is taking place. China nowadays is talking about the trilateral dialogue by including itself, that is China, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, sidelining India. India already has a peripheral role to play in Afghanistan. US has declared that no matter what the ground situation is, we are going to leave Afghanistan in the month of September. You are going to form government or not, it does not concern to us. We will leave in September. So the situation in the northern front of India is not very good as of now. If US leaves Afghanistan without ensuring the political stability, then you should understand that because the Taliban has good relations with Pakistan, they both together can cause great nuisance for India in the northern front. Already we have two adversaries, one is China and one is Pakistan, and we cannot afford third one, that is the Taliban. So for Afghanistan, we need good relations. For making SARC effective, we need good relations with Pakistan, right? To make SCO more effective, Shanghai Corporation Organization, we need again good relations with Pakistan. So with Pakistan, good relation is our necessity because it also helps us to ameliorate the conditions that we see or witness today in the Jammu and Kashmir in form of militancy. So this is how you are going to relate this article. These details are okay. We studied previously as well what is CFL, how it is different from LOC and so on. First thing, why this agreement is important? Because of the DGMO and date specifically mentioned and what it has resulted into. That is important. And since the result is good, so how you should carry forward the talks. So we already saw that Indus Water Treaty Commissioners also they had a meeting after 2.5 years. So that was the first step taken by both the countries, and this mediation is done by the UAE. Please remember, officially, although we have not agreed to that UAE has mediated, but credible reports have said that UAE was the major player between this emergence of bonhomie between India and Pakistan. Why do not we, or since when we basically are not entertaining the third party mediation? Since 1971. Before that, there is CFL. In CFL, was there a third party? Yes, UN was the third party. Since 1971, we have decided that we will not include any third party. Whatever has to be resolved, it should be resolved bilaterally, no third party. So that is the reason we cannot officially accept that UAE has basically helped us to get the much lost warmth with the Pakistan. So first step was the Indus Water Treaty Commissioners. Then this was the step. Then Pakistan was also willing to lift up the trade embargo. We, although do not have high amounts of trade, it is only about $2 billion, but it is significant because it helps to ensure and enhance people-to-people ties and so on. So, but the Pakistan government then later on changed its mind and they decided that we are not going to lift the trade embargo. So, had it been done, the relations would further have got boosted. See, if you look from their perspective, Kashmir is their territory. They are rightful owners of Kashmir, which is in possession of India. If you look from our perspective, the POK part is our rightful territory, which is in possession of Pakistan. So who is gonna resolve this deadlock? Who is right and who is wrong? How are you gonna resolve this deadlock? So the only solution is you accept the status quo and then build upon a new relation. Getting my point? Yes. If you keep on digging the deadlock, then you are not gonna go or you are not gonna head anywhere. The best solution that you also will be suggesting in the examination is to respect and accept the status quo. Status quo is POK is theirs, Kashmir is ours, which they call as IOK, Indian occupied Kashmir. Accept it. Now build a new relation over and above that. So that is the solution. Okay, sir. And always you have to open the communication channels. The moment you end the channel, Pakistan will channelize all its energy, all its resources to irritate us, to frustrate us on the border, to frustrate us inside our country through the internal security threats. Because if we happen to study internal security together, then you will come to know that ISI has direct links not even in the militancy area but also with the insurgents in the northeast and with the Naxalites in the central and southern India. So they will channelize their entire energy to disrupt your nation, and you will be then putting up your resources, energy to defend yourself. You could easily have avoided these kind of situations. You could have used those resources for your own development, and we could have used it for our own development, provided you talk with each other.